Dr. Gagan Katyar, Chairperson, Center for Retail at Birla Institute of Management Technology, Greater Noida. My session will be in three parts. I will first be giving you a brief about the retail industry in India, and then I'll talk about how this Center for Retail at BIMTECH has coped up with the retail strategies and the retail environment that is prevalent in our country and also abroad. And the third, which is most coveted, is the career aspects of students, which everybody would like to know from us when we are teaching and pursuing a course in the area of retail. Now, one thing is very certain, that nobody would like to go into a dying segment. So everybody is wise, and everyone would like to join a program in an area, in a segment which has got high growth potential and has got a good future forecast. In this context, I have certain figures to share with you about the retail scenario in the emerging India. And it has been found out that retail industry has emerged as one of the most dynamic and fast-paced industries due to the entry of several new players. And it accounts for almost 10% of country's GDP and around 8% of employment. And India becomes the world's fifth largest global destination in the retail space. In FDI Confidence Index, India ranked 16th after US, Canada, Germany, UK, China, Japan, France, Australia, Switzerland, and Italy. Now, when we talk about the market size of this segment, this is a report by Kearney Research, which talks about India's retail industry is projected to grow at a slower pace of 9% over 2019-2030, from US 779 billion US dollars in 2019 to US 1,407 billion dollars by 2026, and more than US 1.8 trillion dollars by 2030. Another important body, which is named as Retailers Association of India, shortly we say RAI, the retail industry achieved 93% of pre-COVID sales in the month of Feb 2021. And consumer durables and quick service restaurants, what we say as QSRs, increased by 15% and 18% respectively. E-retail, for instance, which is, I'm talking very particularly about e-retail. E-retail has been a boom during the pandemic, and according to a report by Bain & Company in association with Flipkart, How India Shops Online 2021 was the report. The e-retail market is expected to grow to US 120 to 140 billion US dollars by financial year 2026. And there is it's increasing at approximately 25 to 30% per annum over the next 5 years. And in this scenario, India has the third highest number of e-retail shoppers, only behind China and the US. And when we talk about the development scenario, we talk about technology in general today, worldwide. Retail tech companies supporting the retail sector with services such as digital ledgers, inventory management, payment solutions, and tools for logistics and fulfillment are taking off in India. In the first 9 months of 2021, investors pumped in approximately around 843 million US dollars into 200 small and mid-sized retail technology companies, which is an additional 260% of capital compared to the entire 2020. So that's the size volume of investment into technology and into retail startups. The Indian retail trading has received FDI equity inflow totaling around 3.61 billion US dollars during April 2000 to June 2021, according to Department for Promotion of Industry and International Trade. And India's retail sector attracted approximately 6.2 billion US dollars from various private equity and venture capital funds in 2020. Now, this is in general the scenario that we see in the retail space in India. The government has also not stood back, and the government has brought in a lot of initiatives. Just to give a fillip to retail industry in India. Some of the important ones which I can recall is in October 2021, the RBI announced plans for a new framework for retail digital payments in offline mode to accelerate digital payments adoption in the country. Government may change FDI rules in food processing in a bid to permit e-commerce companies and foreign retailers to sell made in India consumer products. And Government of India, which is of course known to everybody, has allowed 100% FDI in online retail of goods and services through the automatic route. And this provides clarity of the existing businesses of e-commerce companies operating in India. The government's focus to improve digital infrastructure in Tier 2 and Tier 3 markets would be favorable to the sector, which is another important and very important development as far as Tier 2 and Tier 3 markets are concerned. And the Minister of MSME announced inclusion of retail and wholesale trades as MSMEs. Retail and wholesale trade will now get the benefit of priority sector lending under the RBI guidelines. Now, these are some of the very interesting figures. These are some of the data and statistics, including government initiatives, which gives a fillip, to this sector, and it helps potential students, entrepreneurs, and other entities in the area of retail, to look forward in this space because this is one of the most upcoming sectors in the area of retail in India and also abroad. Now, there are concerns when people talk about COVID-19 and retail as per the data, going down in sales because of lockdowns. I would like to correct here is there were certain segments, of course, which were brick and mortar stores, which actually closed down because of government restrictions, of course. But then there were other areas, potential areas, which saw an exponential growth, like for instance, supply chain, like for instance, e-commerce. We talk about retail analytics, but they grew exponentially during this time. So at one point of time, we saw certain specific sectors in the area of retail not doing well, but we also saw a lot of other sectors, including edtech companies, which saw phenomenal growth during COVID-19 and post-COVID-19 scenario. So this is one space where most of the potential students would like to find and search opportunities because it has got a favorable future, and this is also backed by the government initiatives. So this is my first part where I highlight that yes, uh, prospective students must try to seek areas where there is growth, and that's the most wise decision which any rational individual would take, because this space is growing and this space has got enabling infrastructure, and this space has got initiatives by the government, and the space itself is growing because of external investments in India in this particular segment. So when we look forward towards retail, this is a brief framework about how retail stands in this space. BIMTECH as an institution is a 33 years old institute imparting management education in India. We are based at Greater Noida, where we have a fully residential campus, and we have a qualified intake of students across 4 programs that we run in the campus. Out of these 4 programs, the retail management program was launched in the year 2004 from our Delhi campus, where we were based at Pushp Vihar in New Delhi. And from there, which was 1 year program at that point of time, we graduated to a 2 year full-time program approved from AICTE in the year 2006. And since then, we have been providing the retail management education in India offline, which is now more than 18 years that we have been into this space. As far as this center is concerned, we are approved from AICTE with a total intake of 60 seats. We do a lot of activities and we revise our curriculum from time to time. Before I proceed further, let me give you one specific observation. When we talk about retail, the perspective or the perception of individuals in general is the brick and mortar store, which is not the real perception that we see today in retail. Brick and mortar also has rejuvenized into specialized types of stores. And that's where we say they do offline, they do online, which is what we say as physical retail. And apart from this, there have been a lot of changes which have been made in this space. And we at BIMTECH have adapted these changes from year to year. My latest developments that I would like to share with students, in the retail management program is that we wanted to change the entire perception of the physical brick and mortar store that people have. And with that kind of intention, we brought in and identified 6 retail verticals which form the core of this program. And there are a lot of applications. I'll come down in my third specific session about where are the employment opportunities and why I would suggest that this is one upcoming area, and why I suggest that we have identified 6 retail verticals where students have a choice to make their future. The first retail vertical is digital marketing, which talks about, of course, online, e-commerce, and even e-commerce, which is growing at a fast pace. The second vertical is fashion and lifestyle. We have seen certain retardations in this sector, during COVID, but of course, lifestyle and fashion will always remain. And to a specific segment, it will always be catering to prospective customers, which is the second vertical. The third vertical is retail analytics, which is again an upcoming and a great area to work on. The fourth vertical identified by us is store management, which is what we talk about, a physical brick and mortar store, and how do you actually profitably manage a store in a brick and mortar style. The fifth retail vertical is the logistics and supply chain. And I'm not restricting myself to logistics, supply chain, only to brick and mortar. It is open towards warehousing. It is open for front end, back end. It is also applicable across different segments of industry. And the sixth one is visual merchandising, which has grown exponentially. And we find that there are a lot of visual merchandising consultants, companies who provide consulting services to so many companies, only retail, no, to so many other companies which are non-retail companies, including FMCGs. And in this context, when we identify these 6 retail verticals, we would focus more. In fact, we teach general management subjects also. But when we talk about these 6 retail verticals, we would focus on teaching retail concepts, retail store management, retail analytics 1, analytics 2, supply chain management, inventory and logistics management, visual merchandising, digital marketing, emerging technologies in retail, fashion and lifestyle. So these are the focus areas that we have as far as retail verticals are concerned. Additionally, we have some other important subjects that we lay emphasis on, like mall management, retail consumer behavior, sales and distribution management, buying and merchandising, franchising management, category management and private labels, global retailing, and retail luxury. So as far as we are concerned, retail verticals are our priority areas, but then we are moving ahead in terms of also focusing on other courses that I have just mentioned out or listed. Now, this is as far as the important aspects of the curriculum is concerned. But then, as a center, we do a lot of other activities so that we help students, to be keeping pace with the existing retail environment of the country. And in that context, we go ahead with organizing webinars, guest lectures. We have also developed certain small capsule courses, like 10 hours, 12 hours capsule courses. And we have identified those 6 verticals, and we're trying to bring in practitioners, to talk about certain best practices in those 6 verticals. So, what we did last year, R and Python, analytics, and the other small capsule courses of 8 to 10 to 12 hour duration, which we imparted to our students. We have been very much focusing on advanced Excel, gearing our students to learn advanced Excel, which is important for every individual. We have organized a lot of panel discussions. There were certain lecture series that we organized, and I remember one which I would like to mention and share. We invited Professor Raj Seturaman, who is the editor-in-chief of Journal of Retail, which is the world's best journal, and he delivers certain sessions on private label marketing, merchandising, and category management. And that is one great session that was provided by Professor Raj Seturaman. To give you more industry exposure, we take our students for various industry visits. And in this, we focus on getting students aware about a discount store, a large discount store, manufacturing in the retail segment, merchandising, logistics and supply chain, warehousing. And I'll just talk about the current year where we took our students to Walmart, Reliance Logistics, Safe Express, Woodland Apparel Manufacturing, and also see a wholesale market like the Azadpur Sabji Mandi. So we are not restricted to only classroom, but we take our students for a continuous practical learning and show them how things are integrated in the space. And that's where we talk about the industry visits that we conduct every year. To be more acquainted about what the experts have to say, we have a special CXO talk series that we conduct every year, and we do around 6 to 7 CXO talk series. We invite specialists, from different segments of the retail space who would share their experiences with students. Retail Center itself organizes one annual retail summit. We have a tie-up, very close tie-up with Retailers Association of India, RAI, and RAI helps us to organize the annual retail summit where we invite top-level speakers from India and abroad to speak on different recent issues happening in the space of retail. We have 2 important activities, which is like Frush, which is a venture, entrepreneurship venture started by students of Center for Retail. And we have provided them space in our campus where they do entrepreneurship activity under this brand. And this brand is then auctioned to the first year students when the first year students join the program. And this is how it works, and it provides the complete perspective of how entrepreneurship is run in retail. We have something called as Club Regalia, where this club has got certain members from the retail program, and I would just like to share what we plan for 2021-22 under this club. There is a retail summit Vikray that we organize in the year 2021-22. Debate competition on the relevant topics of retail, discussion on real-time challenges in a retail store for different categories such as FMCG, apparel, and so on. Retail Rakshak as a detailed presentation on problems faced by any retail giant. Online business quiz on D2C, online competitive environment presentations and problems faced by retailers. E-Gyan, a rapid fire round on retail terminologies, brand logos, and brand taglines. And of course, Retail Rakshak, a detailed presentation on problems faced by in retail line, which is what I've said, that this is termed as retail production. So as far as the other activities are concerned, we have been very much vocal through Frush and the club Retalia. Very importantly, so last 2 years, we have engaged our alumni. BIMTECH has got more than 7,500 alumni spread globally. And we have 9 chapters in India and 3 chapters abroad. We are opening up 2 new chapters in US and Canada. And we take the help of our alumni in mentoring our students. In this context, what we have done is we have assigned one mentor, which is an alumni mentor, to 2 current students, and this is monitored on a quarterly basis. Our students are mentored on different areas that not only includes academics, it also includes personal issues, it includes placement issues, corporate issues, revenues, opportunities, and so many other things. And this is what we audit every quarter. And there are meetings which are organized between mentors and mentees. And there's another rapid fire round which is held by the faculty of retail, speaking to the mentors of the retail program and then taking feedback of how they have tutored, mentored the students and what could be the future prospects. And that's a very, very rigorous aspect of our mentorship program. We have a summer internship project, which is, of course, this is what we say SIP, which is of 3 months duration. And we place all our students for summer internship into different areas. One important thing to note is that we provide preferences from students, which we tabulate based on their first preference of what they would like to make their career in across all those 6 sub-segments which I have actually talked about, 6 verticals in retail. And based on their first preference, we would like our students to be placed for internship, which goes for 3 months during April, May, and June. What we have also planned is that in future we may have some association with future international universities and colleges where we can have a practical 15-day learning experience of our students in an abroad location. And the idea is that our students would like to visit those locations, would like to have certain classroom sessions with foreign faculties, and at the same time would like to see how retail is practiced abroad versus how it is practiced in India, across different formats, of course. And that's the kind of exposure we would like to provide to our students on a 15-day learning, which we are in process to tie up and plan out. We have OJT, what we say as on-job training, which is again, it's not present in any other programs that we run at BIMTECH. And this OJT is a compulsorily 3 weeks full-time training in a physical store. And what we intend students to learn is the entire store management, right from all those softwares and technology which is integrated at the store level. So just to provide students some physical exposure, this is a 21-day full-time stretch, rigorous stretch, I would say, which is for our retail students to practice what is actually happening at a physical retail outlet. One important decision that we took last year was that we would in future, because of COVID and lockdown, we could not actually implement that, but we have planned that in future we would take our students to certain specific locations in the country where there is high concentration of retail. And the logistics, boarding, lodging will be borne inferentially by BIMTECH just to provide this 21-day exposure for our students. That's the kind of initiative that we've taken. And nonetheless, we have also decided that all those application subjects that we teach in the area of retail, we have plans to outsource 50% of the teaching load to external practicing members in the area of retail, which is again something which no other program does, and I would say that there may be hardly any institution who would outsource 50% of their programs to external experts. We have seen technology changing, and we have used technology. We have been grooming our students to work in the technology segment, like e-commerce, t-commerce, um, augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality, extended reality, uh, analytics, you know, R, Python, and so many other things, that we have taken initiatives, to keep our students up to date in this changing scenario. So that was my second part. My third part, which is everybody would be curious to know about, are the avenues, placement opportunities, and what students would gain, if they join this kind of program, of course. And I think that's the curiosity which everyone would have, and that's my duty to address that kind of curiosity. As far as BIMTECH is concerned, our highest international salary last year was 24.6 lakh Indian rupees. The highest domestic salary was 18 lakhs in rupees, and the average salary that BIMTECH has is 9.38 lakh again in rupees. When I talk specifically with respect to retail, the retail is almost on an average with all other programs. And that's where when companies come for hiring, we talk about IT companies, we talk about consulting companies, all companies would hire even from retail. We have exclusive retail companies that would come and hire our retail students. Of course, there are e-commerce companies, supply chain management companies, even the FMCG companies, which would actually provide opportunities for retail students in areas like supply chain, operations, sales and distribution, e-commerce, and so on. So if we look across, it's not only the retail companies, it's the technology companies, the FMCG companies, the logistics supply chain companies, the e-commerce companies, uh, it's the consulting companies who would actually come and pick up students of retail. So if you take my fair view, I would put it like this, that if you are a student of retail, which is the most emerging sectors in India, I would say that you are not confined to a specific super specialization, but you are more open towards one retail itself, which has got those 6 identified verticals by us, so open there. At the same time, you're also open to non-retail companies like technology companies, consulting companies, IT companies, banking and financial services. So there's so much to offer, when you come across retail. So I can speak about some of the recent companies that I have hired from the current batch, which Aditya Birla Fashion and Retail, TCS, SCL Technologies, Reliance Retail, ICICI Bank, Big Basket, Landmark Pro, Wipro, Reliance, Agio, More Retail Limited, Infosys, Panasonic, Tata Chroma, Innovative Malls, Delivery, Career 360, and there would be many such. So you've not confined yourself only to one specific domain, but you become open to lot of other domains if you take this program and get your education in this particular space. We have taken all care to provide the best and best of inputs, both classroom and practical, to our students on an ongoing basis. And when we talk about our alumni, I can take a few more names. Rajvinder Singh Chahal as a store manager in Tata Chroma. Akshat Chaudhary is the product head in Titan. We have Gurveen Bedi, which is manager marketing and supply chain in Haryana Agro Industries Corporation. Rahul Goyal, Regional Manager, Raymond Apparel, Ashish Kumar, Store Manager, Landmark Group, Biba Apparels Private Limited, and Tanu Sareen, Category Manager, GMR Group, Moloy Patel, Senior Manager, Content Acquisition in Walmart, Rahul Mukherjee in Shoppers Stop, Sandeep Kumar, Reliance Retail. I can name a lot of sub students, Nupur Agarwal in Raffles, Harsh Saxena, Arvind Lifestyle, and the list goes on. And can you imagine, since we are in the 19th year in providing this management education, we have hundreds and hundreds of our retail alumnus working across different profiles in the segment. So there could be a buying profile, there could be a merchandising profile, there could be an operations profile. We have supply chain profiles, warehousing profiles, e-commerce profiles, visual merchandising profiles, sales and distribution roles, and category management roles, mall management roles. It's diverse. It's really, really diverse. So this is all from my side in a nutshell. I've spoken about retail industry in general. I've spoken about what BIMTECH has been doing in the last 18 years in its retail management program. And thirdly, of course, what are the career placement opportunities and type of companies and type of roles that those companies provide to retail students, which is very, very important. So lastly, I would say that this is one program which is, of course, very, very different from the other three programs provided in BIMTECH. It has got more specialized focus in the domain of retail. It is catering to the upcoming areas of retail. It is addressing to the challenges of the new verticals that have added in retail. It has it has been providing inputs in the technology sector in retail. For instance, when I talk about retail technology implementation, that's a vast, vast scope. And so all these things and the roles and the functional areas would definitely single this retail program out from other programs offered by BIMTECH and other institutions. Thank you very much for your patient listening. I am now open to your questions. Please give me a minute till I recollect all questions that have been posted by the aspirants. Now, there is one thing which I would like to highlight because people join program and they come from different streams. And I've spoken about retail program, its focus areas, and the vertical that we have identified, and the roles and the responsibilities which the budding managers would get from the industry. Now, as far as that is concerned, we talk about an engineering graduate, of course, there's a lot of scope because we talk about analytics, talk about supply chain operations, talk about technology. There's lot of scope for an engineering graduate in this space. We talk about a science graduate or a commerce graduate or an arts graduate, or for instance, any other streams of specialized engineering graduation. Since we have identified certain specific verticals, and this course is providing opportunities to grow into a specific area of retail, which has got multifunctional roles. I think the kind of education that we provide in the 2 years and the kind of practical learning and training that we provide, I think This serves the purpose across streams of graduation. So, as far as any other stream is concerned, we equip our students to provide education and the opportunities through a vast spectrum of the functions of industry. So this is open across graduate streams. I can have one or two more questions. As far as the admission process is concerned, I think if you log on to BIMTECH's website, bimtech.ac.in, you find the entire curriculum and the activities that we do, highlights of the program all mentioned on the website. You can separately reach out to our admissions office and they will respond to you through the mail. We also take scores apart from CAT, of course, that we do. We take scores of ZAT, GMAT, CMAT, and MAT. The different cutoffs of these particular examinations again have been mentioned on the website, and you can reach out to our counselors. And one important aspect is the FAQs, frequently asked questions, which is again uploaded on our website. So we provide the entire queries of students through offline and online modes. You can reach out to us, and I think I have almost spoken on all important aspects which these potential students would be curious to know about. Thank you very much for your patient hearing, and wish you all the best for your future. Thank you so much.